So welcome everybody to the debate on Polish biotechnology on behalf of Ministry of Economic Development and Labor and Technology, as well as on BERM Agency, operator for a promotional program of Polish biotechnology. I would like to start this debate with our guests today. The main points of this debate today is how the development of and biotechnology potential of Poland affects its attractiveness as a partner for investors in Europe and beyond. I know it's a long title, but it's it's very, very spacey. So that was the point. I would like to introduce my guest for today. We have a few connections online, and we have also guests on stage. Maybe I will just start from online. Mrs. Marlena Tryka, Deputy Director, Department of Innovations, Ministry of Economic Development, Labor and Technology. Welcome. Hello.
Hello, everyone. I couldn't hear you well, so I think that this is the question for me.
No, it wasn't question. It was just introduction. So hello.
Okay. Hello, everyone.
And the next one online is Mr. Szymon Klus, Chief Expert, Department for Trade and International Cooperation, also Ministry of Economic Development, Labor and Technology.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. And and with me on stage, Mrs. Karolina Król, expert in the Center for Investments, Polish Agency for Investment and Trade.
Good morning.
Good morning or afternoon. Then online is Dr. Radosław Sierpiński, President of Medical Research Agency.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone.
Hello, good afternoon. Online is also Mr. Dr. Andrzej Małkowski, Medical University of Białystok, Technology Transfer Office. Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. And also online, Dr. Łukasz Kutrzeba, Director in Development Department of Jagiellonian Information Center, member of License Cluster. Good afternoon.
Welcome. Yes, good afternoon, everyone.
And on stage with me, to my left, is Ms. Rafael Błompan, Senior Advisor at IBM Innovation Network.
Thank you.
Welcome. As I mentioned, BERM is operator of branch promotional program of biotechnology industry on behalf of Ministry of Economic Development and Labor and Technology. We prepared special promotion on our section for biotechnology, our activities in the Polish biotech section for Bio Europe trade show include, for example, special website, companies presentation, digital catalog, which we offer to all companies, the companies presentation, movies, webinars, debate on biotechnology. Polish biotechnology is present in our everyday life, in all its sections: medicine, pharmacy, agriculture, chemistry, environmental protection. So it's important to know how all institutions involved in biotechnology work, what they support, how they support, what are the legal frameworks for working in the biotechnology sector. But maybe not to prolong too much, I would like to start, from the first round of questions to our specialists and guests invited. The first round of questions, I decided to put less like a general picture of Polish biotechnology and its role of different institutions, how they influence biotechnology sector in Poland. So the first question is to Mrs. Marlena Tryka, Deputy Director, Department of Innovations in the Ministry. I have a question to you about the economic potential of biotechnology, Polish biotechnology. Maybe a few words about your vision about the current state, how the situation has changed during the recent years, and what opportunities you see, for the next years to come. I know it's a long one, but I think that ministry will be able to answer this one. Can I hear your voice?
Of course. Thank you for this important question. I believe, and I guess that everyone believes, that potential of Polish biotechnology is great. We can see that, for example, in increasing of spending of Polish companies on research and development. And what is important, spending related to biotechnology is also increasing, and it was about $230 million in 2017, I guess I saw these data. It is, of course, far less than spending in countries such as Germany or France, but we have to remember that we are at the beginning of the road. And what is important for us now is to still improve the right conditions for development of this industry. And for sure, one of the challenge of biotechnology, which we can see now, is to create appropriate structure allowing to build large multidisciplinary research teams which are able to carry out complex projects. And I have to say that we have one of the answers for this challenge, because on Monday there was a contract for the Virtual Research Institute sign, and we are very happy for that, because the aim of the Virtual Research Institute is to finance the work of selected internationally competitive research teams, which conducting scientific activities with high potential for social, but and also economic applications. And it all happens under the guidance of the leader of some recognized scientific achievements. And the aim of this is, of course, to commercialize the results. What I can also see as an important project is now ongoing and will be really important in Poland, but also in Europe. It is the pharmaceutical strategy, which is now processing by Commission. The final document will be known by the end of this year, I guess, but what is very important is that the objective of the strategy, one of the objectives of the strategy, is to improve the availability and affordability of innovative treatments in Europe. And I believe that this strategy allows to speed up some processes in Europe, but also will open new opportunities for Poland. So this is, I think, some picture in here in Poland, but also in the process which are now taking place in Europe, which I guess will be really important in this year, but also and especially in the next year.
Thank you so much. It's lots of different interesting things going on in strategy, but also in ongoing documents, and so that's good sign, you know, also for support for biotechnology in Poland. Now maybe a question to Polish Agency for Investment and Trade. Why Poland? Why do you think that Poland is such a perfect place for biotech investments?
Poland is a perfect mix of talented people, very good location in the middle of Europe, and also has a very friendly business environment. First of all, we are the biggest country in Middle Europe. We have 40% of population of Central Eastern countries, and 23 million people in working age. Among these people, 1/3 is people with higher education, which is also a big advantage of our country. And in all of the big cities, we have higher education institutions, and we are observing growth in collaboration between academia and business, which is a very good sign, and it is very good sign for biotech sector. Biotech sector is based on talented, well-qualified people, and such people you can find in Poland. And what's more, we have also the biggest inflow of people outside the EU. So we not only have Polish talents, but we have also talents from abroad.
So mixture.
Yes,
The good
exactly.
mixture of talents, yeah.
Exactly. And second thing is that we also have very, very good location. We are in heart of Europe. And we have modern airports. We have connections with the biggest cities in Europe. We have direct connections with the US and the Asian cities.
Actually, we have connections. I think it's 220 something country places. So direct connections by air. So that's from Warsaw.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And we have also sea freight ports, transport possibilities, which is very important if you need to import and export some resources from, for example, Asia. And we are also a part of Silk Road, new Silk Road, which is also a big advantage of our country. And last but not least,
With the Silk Road, so there are also direct connections and modal connection by train, not only by
Exactly.
air, but also.
Exactly. And last but not least, friendly business environment, which was already said. We have new frameworks for biotech companies, but also we have investment incentives. And Poland, thanks to economic growth that we have been having for more than 20 years, is resistant to economic turbulences. So this is the perfect mixture for new investments, also in biotech sector.
Thank you so much. I think it's a good picture. So for anybody who is interested really in Polish, not just biotech, but first of all biotech, because our debate is on biotech. Now, question to medical research agency, because you have really big experience and a big influence on. So, what is the main mission, the main role, according to you, Dr. Mr. Radosław Sierpiński would like to answer this question. What are the activities undertaken by your agency? How they shape, what kind of influence they have on Polish biotechnology picture?
Thank you very much for this important question, and I'm happy to take part in this debate. I have to agree that it is a great place, Poland, to create the biotechnology, and we may be the leaders in the Central and Eastern Europe in this field of economics. And I believe it is very possible that Medical Research Agency may be one of the main players in this great opportunity. Currently, we contracted more than 1 billion of Polish zlotys for non-commercial clinical trials. We have created 10 centers for clinical trials in Polish medical universities and institutes of Ministry of Health. So I believe that such a network may give us opportunity to become the leader in the Europe in the field of clinical trials, both commercial and non-commercial, and to be very attractive partner for a public-private collaboration. I'm afraid it is somehow a problem in Poland to create very good public-private collaboration model, but we are still working on it, and I believe year by year,
Especially legal framework for this, because this partnership,
Yes, of course. I think there are some legislative problems, some law chaos that we would like to simplify. That's why Polish government started to work on the legislation act which we created about the clinical trials market in Poland. So I believe at the beginning of next year, Polish Parliament will vote for this act, and this market will be simplified, safer, and let's say clearer for our international partners. So I am pretty sure that such a work of Polish government by creating the chain of finance, I mean, starting from the basic science of the National Center for Science, the National Center for R&D, the Medical Research Agency, and the very good information about the virtual Institute for Research, which receive $500 million of Polish zlotys for biotech in the field of oncology. It may be the future to create Poland as a leader in Europe in this field.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much, because it's a big role, really. It's a big role, very spacious, so that's because you have to combine, but it's good that you are working also on this, let's say, regulations to make it possible to work, hand-in-hand business with universities, because that's what we need, so that's very good. Thank you very much. And now maybe we move a little bit to south of Poland, to Jagiellonian Center for Innovation, to Dr. Łukasz Kutrzeba. And because you combine like two roles, it's a Jagiellonian Institute of Innovations and a life science park, technology park center. So that's maybe a little bit, if you can provide some information about the support tools provided by these both institutions to the biotechnology companies, or institutions, or just universities. So just to make it more, brighter for us. Thank you.
Obviously, thank you for this question. Jagiellonian Center of Innovation as a company set up by Jagiellonian University in 2004, over this number of years has developed a number of tools to support, we say in broadly life science sector, but obviously biotech sector is included in this broad term, life science. The company has developed several tools. The tool that is the most, I would say, visible and has, I would say, the highest impact on the development of Polish biotech sector is Life Science Park. By the time when the park was set up, thanks to the EU funds in 2009, and then over a few years until 2012, when it was accomplished, there were few similar institutions in Poland, like Life Science Park, that were purely, I would say, oriented towards life science sector. There was also Poznań Technology Park, Science and Technology Park, Nickel Technology Park. There were just few of them. And until now, there's not so many places of this kind in Poland that could support life science and biotech sector in general, with a specific infrastructure that is dedicated to conduct research activities, perform R&D activity. The best example of the benefit from existence of Life Science Park here in Kraków is Selvita company, which now is a group of two companies, actually Selvita Group and Selvita company and Raivu. Both of them are located in Kraków. The development of Selvita would not be possible if not Life Science Park in Kraków. We gave an infrastructure and place, an environment for the development of this fastest growing biotech company in Central Eastern Europe. So that's without any doubt. But infrastructure is not everything. Many of the companies, academic institutions, public healthcare sector is outsourcing their activities to other companies. And JCI, within its own laboratory infrastructure, within its own equipment and people that we have on board, experts on board, we are supporting sector in contract research services. So we run projects for companies that have either no such capabilities to run them, or simply don't have perhaps resources or time to do it. So we are sometimes a problem solver for them as well. So contract research services, that's another tool that we're using. And it was mentioned before here by Mr. Radosław Sierpiński that clinical trials, thanks to ABM, is the sector that is also rapidly developing in Poland, thanks to the dedicated money for this type of projects. We know that Poland, in terms of clinical trials, it's a wonderful place to conduct of these. And knowing this, a few years ago, we opened also clinical trials center, a small center that can also support companies, biotech companies, which would like to evaluate their new therapeutic compounds or chemicals they would like to implement onto the market. So that was a key idea that we knew simply because of Cellvita case also, that there will be new chemical entities that will have to be evaluated clinically. So therefore, we opened that clinical trial center as well. And last but not least is the networking. So we as a company are well connected with the academic sector, not only because of close presence of the Jagiellonian University in Kraków, but also with other universities, medical schools that we are closely collaborate with, but also with public healthcare sector or private biotech sector. And thanks to this network that we have built, we can also additionally help institutions, companies that are addressing their problems to us, to help to solve these problems, not only by our own, let's say, capabilities, but also capabilities of those partners that collaborate with us, or simply whom we know that can help to solve certain problem.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So your role is really a big one, and very essential, because as you can see, you are combining a few roles. So for those who are just beginners in, let's say, maybe not just beginners, but they they need these resources which you provide. So that's good, that such a life science center exists.
We were the first one of the first institutions in Poland in the first, let's say, financial perspective between 2007 and 2013, in which we had a investment fund called JCI Venture. It was just one of the 3 funds of this type in Poland that invested in purely life science projects, biotech projects. Very difficult field to invest into. And until now, we also maintain this type of activity of investing into startup companies, into projects that need seed money to grow. We know that biotech sector is very difficult to invest to, and the return on investment is a long term. So comparing to IT sector, this is not an easy task. We are also taking part in this in supporting life science sector with this tool as well.
Thank you very much. And maybe I'll pass, because the part of the question is also to the next one, to the next person is Dr. Andrzej Małkowski from Medical University of Białystok, about the attractiveness of Polish biotech sector in your opinion, and how this university know-how can be transformed, then in commercialization of what is discovered or what is made by R&D done in university. How to operate this? Maybe thanks to such a centers like Life Science Center. What is your opinion?
Good afternoon. Once more, Polish universities are very competitive in the scope, in the field, in Europe. So we have many connections, we have many collaborations, and Polish science in general does not have any problem with world or European science. So we are the part of this system, and we work closely. So, the problem could be the commercialization of the know-how IP, which is created in the universities. But during the last years, the situation is better and better. First of all, the Polish universities develop many good practices, and they share the good practices with each other. There is a Polish association of the technology transfer centers, which combines connects almost all the universities and many of the science institutions in which we share the good practices. We also talk with the Ministry of Science. Also, we have the collaborate with the Agency of the Medical Research. So this is the place where we learn. Also, the association works closely with the ASTP, which is the European Association of the Technology Transfer Offices. So the next thing that is a problem, is always problem on a university, is the early stage of the IP of the technology which is created on the university. There are many causes of this, and there are many reasons why this is happening. But one of the problem is the money, because there is, like my pre-speaker said, there is a need for the seed money, and the biotech is a very hard place to invest, and the universities are in need of not very large money, maybe, but some money to seed some technology, some ideas which can be just checked if they have a commercial potential. And for some years, Ministry of Science runs the program of innovation incubator, in which we can transfer of some amount of money for the promising technologies to check the commercial potential. And we are working with this for 3 years with this program, and we can see that it is very important and very fruitful program, because after the rise of the technologies that was licensed or was the spin-offs were created after this, is very, very, very high.
Thank you. Yes.
So I think this is how it looks like for now.
Thank you very much, because everybody needs, this helping hand, especially, this kind of complicated research where you can verify, by, of course, the certain KPIs. But to verify these KPIs, you have also, to have this, let's say, starting money, so to do it wisely. And now the question to our guest on stage. So, Rafael, you represent the EBN, which is maybe you pass a few information about the main role of EBN network, and so what would be its, influencing potentially, the Polish biotechnology in light of what we discuss here today.
Thank you, Janeta. Yes, with pleasure. First of all, I have to say I'm very happy to be here for 2 reasons, basically, and another reason just came into force now for my organization, which is EBN. It's the acronym for European Business Innovation Center Network, is the pan-European organization ruling incubation in Europe. So basically what we are doing in our daily work is organize the work of incubators all over Europe and even beyond. So we have also members outside of the continent. Our work is related to the organization of their activities, contacts, dissemination of possibilities, and especially the fact that we also we give a qualitative standard to them. So we assess
certification.
a certification process in which we assess the level of the incubation. So if they really get the certificate UBIC, it means they are really very good. So the reason why I'm happy, first of all, because my organization is very, very much interested in what's happening to Poland now. And we share, and that's the second reason why I'm happy today, because my colleagues, who talked before me, they simplified my intervention in the sense that I was on the point of saying exactly the same. We share the same point of view. So Poland is very important in this very period of our history, European history, for many reasons. And the reasons are, of course, connected to your question. So what we can do as EBN. And the basic of our work is to facilitate and try to, in a way, homogenize the situation at level of innovation in Europe. So what we can do is basically, in view of what we already said, thanks to our colleagues, is trying to exactly to put, if needed, Poland at the same level and more in contact with similar stakeholders, European stakeholders. So basically, there are many facilities, high research facilities in Poland in this very moment. Actually, I think for biotech, the main ones which are located in the metropolitan areas, I don't know, for instance, Glaxo, I think, is in Łódź, Bayern is here in Warsaw. The three cities, so Gdańsk, Sopot, Gdynia, they're hosting also clusters. So, what we try to do is to create connection to to similar European entities, and at the same time, at the level of government, try to create institutional path of better communication with the European Union, with the European Commission. We can do this in three ways. Basically, giving possibility of keeping the trend, this beautiful trend, this very high level trend that we are today for biotech in Poland, creating connection with European entities which are working at the government level, so a legal level.
Also to assure this helping hand,
yeah, sure, because when we talk about legal homogenization, that could be many things and very few things. So many things because we need to arrange, as we said before, the legislation, trying to have as much as possible an orientation to exploit from a legal point of view at the same way the possibilities, the high possibility, the many possibilities that are in Europe. At the same time, what we need to do is also to create the framework for Poland to access grants, to access European projects. We were talking before, again, we slightly mentioned also the fact that there are, I think you, Magda, you told about the possibilities that now in the framework programs, for instance, the new framework programs, Next Generation Europe. So what we are trying to do is exactly this. And last but not least, also to maintain as much as possible this relatively competitive advantage of Poland, trying, of course, not to unbalance the situation at European level. The competitive advantage Poland has, because of the very good schools here, very good academies, very good technopoles and technoparks. We have some of these technoparks are members of the EBN network, so we know them very well. Krakow, for instance, is one of ours. And at the same level also exploit the competitive advantage given by the cost of working, the cost of work, which is relatively accessible compared to other similar to other countries in Europe.
Yeah.
So, generally speaking, again, EBN can do a lot in this sense, but we are already operating here.
Okay.
So,
that's
you know, it's...
but, I invited you especially to make it, like a wider audience, because you are operating, but not everybody, not all biotechnology centers are familiar with exactly what you do. So that was my goal,
we are conscious of this.
Yeah.
That's why we created specific channels
Yes.
internally called special interest groups, for instance. And one is dealing also with pharma and biotech, among the others, in order to enhance the possibility for the sector to be more evident to the eyes of the investors, to the eyes of the stakeholders, to the eyes of the normal people working every day.
Okay, thank you so much. We are coming, to the second round of questions, which will be about the meaning of biotechnology for economic development of Poland and about how to make it more visible in the world, so internationalization of biotech innovations. And the first question again, I have to Mrs. Tryka from Ministry. How should the importance of biotechnology be understood, the importance for a whole economy be understood in eyes of Ministry, in opinion of Ministry?
Okay, thank you. So first of all, I believe that there is no economic development without healthy people who could create the prosperity of the country. So this is, in my opinion, the most important area of the health and improving some therapies and so on for the development of biotechnology. And during the ongoing COVID pandemic, biotechnology has shown us unprecedented speed in the development of technology, having a significant impact on development of new effective diagnostic methods and also vaccines, which are in the third phase of clinical testing in a very short time. What is more, the global pandemic, but also the Nobel Prize for genome editing method pointed that the key importance and necessity of long-term commitment to research in the area of biotechnology, but also the innovation in this area. Of course, it's not only which biotechnology should focus on, because there are also another areas such as, for example, technology in such areas as food production or bio-based materials or new generation of biofuels. So there is a big scope for this development of biotechnology. But as I said, I think that the most importance, the major importance of biotechnology should be the health of the society.
Okay. Thank you very much. As you can see, that there is, as I mentioned in the very beginning, that biotechnology is present in all aspects of our life. But thank you for putting the attention, especially to the health projects and connected with this, especially now, which is important during pandemic times. So that's the question to Medical Research Agency and Mr. Sierpiński now. How do you support this agency? Do you support the Polish institutions which conduct the biotechnology activity? And what kind of, maybe a little bit of explanation, what kind of entities they are, and how they translate it into strengthening Poland's position in European and worldwide market?
Thank you. Well, I must say that the support coming from the Medical Research Agency is, let's say, multi-directional. Our main goal is to provide the scientific grants for non-commercial clinical trials, which are mainly conducted for Polish universities and medical institutes in Poland. And as I said before, we contracted less than 1 billion of Polish zlotys in 2020 for those. So it means that Polish scientists can conduct non-commercial academic clinical trials, which was never possible before the Medical Research Agency was created.
This helping hand. So you mentioned that it is so needed in the beginning, of the trip.
Yes, of course. I think it is somehow creating the market both for commercial and non-commercial clinical trials. Because if our scientists can handle the non-commercial clinical trials, then the market for commercial trials will be higher and higher. It is the estimation that commercial market in Poland is worth let's say 2 billions of Polish zlotys, and it should be worth 3 times more. As it was said before by one of our panelists, we are a very attractive market because Poland is a very good place to conduct the clinical trials. I mean, the commercial clinical trials, which are financed by foreign big companies. So the scientific grants are the main objective for the Medical Research Agency, but still we have also the support for the centers for clinical trials. It will be, let's say, some kind of common center located in the biggest Polish hospitals, and they will be connected in somehow of some kind of let's say network for clinical trials, which will be ruled by the Medical Research Agency, and it will make our market more and more attractive for foreign investors. One of our very important scopes is also to give Polish patients the access for innovative therapies. At the end of this year, we would like to introduce to Poland the CAR-T therapy. It's very, very innovative therapy used in the leukemias, especially in the childhood, and this is the, let's say, the breakthrough in treating the leukemia, because it was never been accessible in Poland before. And starting from 2021, this therapy, this very innovative biotechnological therapy, will be accessible for Polish patients. In our scope for next year is also a contest for commercial clinical trials, which will be dedicated not only for academia and institutes, but for the Polish innovative companies like the mentioned Solvita. So I believe we will support our Polish innovative companies, our scientists, and good Polish benchmarks in biotechnology to give Polish patients the possibility to use our technology in our market.
Okay, thank you so much. So as you can see, always this the good beginning and the support, of such institutions like yours is necessary for a fast growth, and for giving opportunity for those. And maybe talking about these opportunities, the question to Polish Agency for Investment and Trade. So what kind of helping hand do you provide? What are investment incentives for biotech companies? So would like to also to be here and to help also the Polish companies.
Yes, thank you for this question. Biotech, it's a very complex sector. So it's based on discovery of new substances, molecules, product strategy, research and development, also manufacturing and sales and marketing. And we have incentives for different parts of the projects. Cash grants, tax incentives, EU funds, just to name a few. Mm-hmm. And for example, we have cash grants for R&D projects, business shared service, and manufacturing. Mm-hmm. And companies can get up to 15% of eligible costs. Mm-hmm. The application procedure is ongoing, so companies can apply every time when they have a project that fulfill qualitative and quantitative criteria. This one you can combine with also CIT exemption, which is also available on the territory of the whole Poland. And you can also apply any time for it. And it's also for R&D projects and manufacturing projects. And in Poland, we can get the highest amount of public aid according to the EU law. So in Eastern Poland, for big companies, it's even for up to 50%. So it's also a big advantage for companies. For SMEs, is even more. So it's very attractive for companies. We have also other tax incentives, such as R&D tax relief or 5% tax on the income related to IP. All of these instruments are to attract companies, research and development centers to come to Poland to invest and to develop their business activity here. And also we have organizations that help investors to find the right tools, to find the right instrument of public aids, and also that help to locate their activity in perfect place, such as institutions, for example, Polish Investment Agency of Investment and Trade.
That's very good. Sounds really interesting and tempting. Should be really good support for those who decide to work here in Poland and support Polish companies to grow also by locating such investment. Question to Medical University of Białystok. How to help internationalize the work of public sector in international arena. So that's how you see that.
I think that the main problem is that the Polish science in general has no strength in the world. We have a few.
Not yet.
Yeah, we have some maybe like this.
Yes.
We have many good universities. We have many good scientists, but when you talk with the foreign companies, very often you have to clarify what we can offer as a Poland. This is still ongoing work. So I think that the main thing that can be done is to
Promotion.
Promote
That's
Polish
what we do
science
here.
abroad.
That's why we're here.
Yes, I know that's why we are here. And this is like, for instance, this conference is a very good example of such a promotion. The Medical Research Agency also started this process and founded the Polcreen, which is a network of the clinical research entities, which is part of Ukraine, which is a European network of it. And we can promote our science and our universities there and our clinical trials. So I think this is the most important thing. We have to make a mark of Polish science, and we have to be recognized in the world.
It's a very good voice, because it's we have to promote. This is why we are here, and this is a part of promotional program which is done by Ministry of Economic Development, Labor and Technology. So that's hopefully after let's say being active for the next 3 years, will be more and more visible in the world. And maybe the same question, almost the same to Rafael Błompan, how this activity of EBN can help Polish biotechnology companies to be more visible, to make it international, to make it really this work, visible in the world.
Yes. Oh, well, that's very easy for us in the sense that we simply follow the streamline of our daily job in EBN. Biotech sector, it's a very sophisticated and very interesting industrial sector. The fact that it's, as you said before, it's very transversal. There are some industrial sectors which are transversal to many different subjects, many different industrial subjects. For instance, the space industry, but biotech as well. You can find biotech in, of course, in scientific, in the scientific environment, in the production, in the pharmacology. You can find biotech in chemistry. You can find even, in some cases, in the creative industries, textile industries, in many fields. So it's very transversal. For this reason, EBN is taking particular attention in this very last years on this kind of sector. Every year we analyze the situation in Europe. And also we make comparison with other continents. We publish some research, and thanks to this research, we keep an eye on a control on the situation especially at macro region level. So what they call NUTS2, so macro regions in Europe. And what I can say is that exactly EBN is trying to implement activities which are trying to help countries like Poland. Poland is quite unique in his essence in this very moment, for the reasons we were analyzing before. So what we can do is basically create more dissemination, as it was said before, create more communication, create more connections, trying to, again, facilitate the access
to international market.
Of entrepreneurs to international market, not only, but also to access to seed funds, venture capitals, business angels.
More you are active, more you are visible, you are more better promoted.
Yeah, EBN is sharing membership with many of these organizations. For instance, EBAN, the business angels in Europe, the organization. So what we try to do is exactly this, is trying to put together all these players from Poland and from the rest of Europe, and trying to, in a way, to mix them up.
Of course, because you needed, this mixture.
Again, it's not very difficult for us. I started, now talking to you, saying that it's easy, because Poland now, it's in a state of grace regarding the transport, regarding the hubs, regarding the location in Europe, regarding the workforce.
The rising trend, yeah.
And everything is on rising trends. Of course, now we don't take the special moment into consideration because of the situation everywhere.
I know.
But the future trends are all very positive, and not only for biotech. So you see, the ecosystem is mature, is very much ready to access these new challenges, and for this reason we are very positive that we can play a role helping entrepreneurs here, and not only entrepreneurs and organizations dealing with them.
Thank you very much.